Welcome to another episode of the Popko Project Podcast. Today I'm joined by Johnny Cochran. What's up, man?
Not too much, brother. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Not to be confused with OJ Simpson's lawyer, right?
Right, right. I've when I tell you I've never heard the end of that.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually did pre-law in college,
No way.
so it's run for a long time. I also took a class with a girl named Morgan Freeman. So we had a pretty sick lineup that year in communications.
That's perfect.
You know? Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, right now you're doing music, man. And I'll tell you what, I was joking earlier. I don't know how you're not bigger than you are. I feel like it's only a matter of time. But it's good for me because a little Joe Schmo from Scranton, Pennsylvania is able to connect with you and talk to you. I don't know if I keep saying this a lot this year. Like, I don't know if my just Instagram algorithm is just doing really great things for me, or if you guys are just advertising the right way, or what it might be. But came across your music. I'm not sure if it was from Instagram or if it just came on Spotify by accident. It was the song Miami,
Yeah.
and I loved it right off the first note. And I'm like, this is incredible. So I wanted to reach out and just see if you'd give me some of your time. So thank you for doing this.
Totally, bro. I appreciate it.
And you're from Nashville, right? You're in Nashville now.
I'm in Nashville now. I've been here for about 8 years, but I was born and raised in Louisiana, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
How's Nashville treating you?
It's great, bro. I feel like I'm supposed to be here. I've pretty much been playing music since I've been in town, and I'm fortunate to still be doing it. And I can't really ask for more. What's cool about Nashville is that even if I could stay a nobody forever and still be able to work as a
Yeah.
musician.
Hell
So
yeah.
I cannot complain.
Hell yeah. Well, I know you have a hard out, you have a show tonight, so I don't want to. I want to get right into things. For anyone discovering you for the first time, who are you? Where are you from? You already said that, but what's your story?
Well, I mean, I've been playing music since I was really young. My mom said I could whistle before I was one, and my older brother used to get pissed because he was jealous. But yeah, I've always just kind of, had music in me. My dad played bass in church growing up. My mom was in the choir. And I grabbed a guitar maybe at about 11 or so, and I just ran with it. Was playing in church for years, played in bands, really owned my guitar chops a lot, playing in bands in my teenage years and my 20s and whatnot. I moved to Nashville in 2018. Initially kind of going in the country direction. But I came from more of a little bit of a rock slash pop rock world. Um, I wasn't totally convinced at the time that I could have done something with that. And I think that like country was kind of just the shiny little object to me. And I was, from the South. So in my mind, I could do it. But over time, I really felt like that was a contrived version of myself and it really wasn't who I was. I would say I'm Southern, but I'm not country, you know?
Okay.
And I feel like I did all right considering what things were to be able to come to town and survive and play shows. And, I got to do a couple cool openers, like for Brett Young, Walker Hayes, Blake Shelton are probably the three biggest that I ever did openers for.
Yeah.
Um, Nothing really ever took off for it. I had a publisher deal at one point in time. Excuse me, I had a publisher meeting. I didn't have a deal. Um, I misspoke there. It didn't really turn out to be anything. But about that time, I was figuring out that I didn't really want to exist in the country world. I got a songwriting cut with a girl named Grace Tyler that the country artist Lee Brice ended up producing, and I was really excited about that. But at the same time, um, it kind of made me realize that I didn't like care enough about it to want to keep pushing that direction, and that I like my heart was ultimately in you know a genre that was different from that, and that I needed to have more of like it's cliche, but like just kind of be authentic and my honest self. So I spent a couple years just kind of stepping back and working on a record, which I just officially put out in June, called Empty Shell of the Good Old Days. And it's basically just like my love life from my mid to late 20s.
And that's exciting, right?
Totally. I'm pretty happy with how it came out, man. It's self-produced.
Very cool.
Um, I've got a handful of other musicians collaborating with me on it, but I played the majority of the record myself and produced it. And I just feel like I did it right by myself this time around, and I feel good about it for that reason. I'm glad people are connecting with that, because I think that was the scariest part was, you know, the moment when I thought I was going to do country, it felt a lot easier to know who the audience was and what they wanted, etc. Whereas this felt like a little bit more of a crapshoot, because I feel like I'm trying to create a lane that's totally my own. So you don't always know if that's something that people are going to want to hear, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's always tough. Um, how would you describe your music without putting like a genre label on it?
Without the genre label, ooh, I don't know.
You could do both. You could do both. One or
I
the other. It
mean,
doesn't matter.
it's like sad boy pop rock, you know? It's like, I think it's music for like people who are like longing and lovers, and but also like who like bright energy.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I tend to like to mix the melancholy with the happy or exciting. So a lot of times you'll find both of those coexisting in the song.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to say that because when I listen to music, I ultimately hear the music first, and then like
Same.
the lyrics are definitely secondary. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to the lyrics. It's just like the music's good, it makes me feel good, and it's like just that. So yeah, you like nailed that with, musically it's very happy, and I picture myself, as a younger man being out with friends, having a good time. It's kind of like a little soundtrack. Like if you were to record that night with your friends, whether it be friends or a partner or whatever it might be, that could be the soundtrack to like, the playback of that, so to
Yeah.
speak, you know?
Yeah.
But then lyrically, yeah, it's definitely, you're talking about, relationships and things like that. So yeah, it's really a great combination.
I appreciate that. And then maybe one other thing worth noting, when I think about like how to kind of like describe what it is that I've really wanted to kind of like blend. A lot of people are doing kind of this like 80s reminiscent sound for the last maybe even almost 10 years now, probably even a little more.
Yeah.
And I love that, but I really wanted to kind of hybridize that with the modern too. So my stuff is a little bit more hi-fi maybe than a lot of, you know, uh classical like synthwave and stuff like that. But if you listen long enough, you'll realize that there's a ton of synthwave influence in that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love drawing from that. I like that soundscape vibe. But I also would probably also describe it as more rock than the average artist in that lane as well. And it's kind of annoying sometimes, because like if it can be hard to get playlisted or something like that, because it's too rock for pop and too pop for rock. But then at the same time, I'm like, it kind of tells me that I'm doing my own thing, so I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in the past, I've kind of came out of the gate and said, I hear a lot of this band and that band in the artist that I'm talking to. I decided not to do that. I'm going to ask you who you would put yourself like next to. Like if someone likes band XYZ, they'll like Johnny
Okay.
Cochran. Who'd those be?
Yeah. So I do feel like that's like it shifts left and right a little bit depending on if the song's a little more rock or a little more pop. But in the pop category, I would say like bands like the 1975,
Perfect.
Nightly, um, maybe if you're a Fly By Midnight fan as well.
Mhm.
In the center, I would put somebody probably like band Camino. They're a good example of a band who I think with kind of flirts with both sides of that similarly to me. Um, in my rockest moments, I think Bill Murray fans could like it.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
And my next record is going to lean like the rock stuff. I'm going to give a little bit even more breath as well. So I'm going to lean into that a little bit harder. I will have pop tunes as well. But I think that if you're on that edge of Bill Murray fan, the next stuff I'm putting might give you a little bit more
Okay.
love on that end of things. But yeah, that's what I can think of off the top of my head for the most part.
Well, I'm glad you said the 1975 because that was the immediate band. I was like,
Yeah.
this is very similar. And
Somebody called me a Timu Maddie Healy on Instagram the other day.
dude, I mean, there is like the musically and physically, there's a little
Aesthetically,
bit, yeah, there's a
yeah,
little bit
I'll
of
take
a,
it. I responded to her. I said, if you knew how much Timu I have in my wardrobe, you'd know how honored I am that you would say that.
yeah. I always, I've done over 270 episodes, and I've always kind of when it, like I said, came out of the gate, and I would like kind of say what I heard right off the jump. And I've only offended one person because that's why I get scared. Like, what if I say the 1975 and you're like, oh, I fucking hate that band. I hate that lead singer. That's the word. And that would just like be detrimental to the conversation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but for
I,
sure.
I think I'm generally pretty like open to options there. Yeah. A girl I like did once tell me on I was showing her very recently here um my my most rock song on the next upcoming record, and she remarked that my vocal sounded like the Jonas Brothers. And it I didn't love it, but I was like, okay, fair enough, whatever. Like it's I feel like I know that my stuff is like substantially more pop for that rock crowd. So like I know how to take that at the same time. It's you know, it's definitely not a dude's favorite answer ever, but I feel like I handle it with enough grace, you know.
Well, hey, I mean, how successful have they been, you know?
Totally. Totally. And I'm not here to hate on Jonas Brothers at all.
I got you.
Respect. Game recognized game, brother.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And who have some of your biggest influences been over the years?
The first the first bands I was really into, I was a youth group kid. So Switchfoot and Reliant K were the
Hell yeah.
first ones. And then I discovered Under Oath shortly after that, and that was just game over, bro. I most of my life was spent wishing that I could be an Under Oath. That was my favorite band by far. And then I always liked pop rock, but I never quite had a favorite band in that realm until I wouldn't even quite call them my favorite band even then. But when the 1975 came around, I remember feeling like, okay, there's a lane for me that's I don't have to be this, but I can see myself now like a little bit more as an artist because I always knew that like I wasn't a heavy front man, but I knew I wanted to be a front man, and I could play heavy guitar and I could write that stuff, but I that just wasn't what my instrument, like my body, my voice actually sounded like. I've always had a little bit cleaner tone, so when I discovered 1975 and then later on, you know, the band Camino is a huge influence as well. Bands like that, that's where I really started to feel like, okay, there's a lane for me here that I can lean into.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you mentioned you have a new album out, came out in June.
I do.
Title is Empty Shell of the Good Old Days.
Yeah.
Hell of a title.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I feel like it's maybe nostalgic, right? And I'm big into that. So talk
Yeah.
about that title.
Yeah. Nostalgia's, I think that's right on. If you've listened to the whole record, little Easter egg, it's a lyric from the song I Saw You on the Way Down, where I give a little nod to my lack of a love for the downtown Nashville scene. Um on Broadway. I appreciate the place. I make a living out there. It can be a lot at times, especially on a Monday morning at 11 a.m. when somebody wants you to take shots. Um but anyway, you know, I was reminiscing on a relationship that I had, and the line is you know, downtown is such a hellscape anyway. It's just an empty shell of the good old days, which is just a way of saying like you're not here anymore with me. And after writing that line and compiling all these songs together, that just felt like the most like, for lack of a better term, generic general description of what the whole piece was about. Was just like kind of looking back at things and realizing that like it's changed now, and like there might even still be some sort of a substructure of what that was, but it's not the same anymore. And so that's why there's a shell on the album art. And then a couple other Easter eggs is that I love cherry blossoms. I have one tattoo. It's a cherry blossom, which is why you see the little petals in there.
Hmm.
And then the house on it actually is like a depiction of the house that I lived in during this point in time. And I haven't announced it yet, but I'm comfortable saying it here. But I did a full live recording of my whole record. I don't live in that house anymore, but we went back to that house and recorded it there.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm working on that, finishing up mixes and stuff now, and hopefully in the next month or so we'll start dropping that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
It's always cool. I have a friend of mine. His name is James Barrett, and check him out if you have time. Super awesome artist, and he kind of rents out this. I don't know if he rents it out or if he has like maybe it's a relatives, but he calls it the tiny house, and he does a lot of his recording in this little tiny house. He even put the house on one of his either his single releases or an album cover. I forget which one. But that's really cool.
Yeah. It's like a brand piece at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like when you do that, it just has like this. I think this special this space that I kind of feel like it kind of brings out something special. So I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like it sounded pretty good so far.
Awesome. Looking forward
Yeah.
to that. And I don't remember if we talked about this before we were recording or during, but I'm going to ask it again. Is there a common running theme through this record, or is it a collection of snapshots throughout your life, or what does this kind of look like?
It's love songs. That's what I could say. I've always written love songs. I like love songs. You know, that
Who
that
doesn't?
that's the biggest thing. Some of them are just reflecting on the good times, and some of them are reflecting on the bad times. But it's all just that reflective, nostalgic, young love thing, you
Yeah.
know. And I want it to feel good when you're driving.
Yeah. Dude, it's and we'll get to this too. Miami was the first song I heard, and like that's just that song is incredible.
Thank you.
Before we get to that, well, hell with it. Let's talk about Miami. Talk about that song. It's this first song I heard. I listened to the album all the way through. Um, there's a couple that I really enjoy. I like all of them, but Miami was the one that stuck out. Can you talk about that song in particular?
Yeah. I'm really happy that that's the song that's sticking out right now, or first or at all. I didn't expect that it would have been the most positively responded to, but it's probably my favorite on the record. Um, Something about it sonically felt the freshest to me, and I can't totally put my finger on it. I think it's that it's spacey and airy. Um, but I think that like the chord style or mode, not to get too technical here, but like it feels something about it feels ever so, and I emphasize ever so slightly dystopian. And that's something that I've always been very drawn to. Um, and having that just little glimmer of it, I think helps the longing vibe a lot. Um, I just was creating kind of another synth inspired rock song. And it was when I lived in that house, and I just remember coming home from an in-town gig that I had played that night, and just had that little 3 4 5 6 thing happening, and I just looped that, played guitar over it, and I was just like, this just feels different. It feels, it's a relatively common chord progression, but the timing pulls it away from being totally normal. And so I was like, that's enough breath for me to feel like this is a fresh idea. And I don't know, that's one song that I definitely feel like kind of more happened to me. Now I did write a ton of verses for that one. I probably spent more time on that than average trying to get the lyrics right and everything. But it's just a hindsight picture of a relationship that I had, and it's not literal to the T, but it's very representative of it. I had left Nashville during COVID to go back home and be with my parents, just not knowing what the landscape was looking like, and I didn't have anything keeping me here for the time being. And there was a girl I had met right before I'd left. We ended up dating, but we broke up whenever I came back to Nashville. And this was just kind of me looking back at that and reflecting on it, and asking myself, what was I feeling about this? What was I thinking really that got me here, sort of thing. And yeah, and that song just kind of happened.
And you have a video for that as well.
I do, yeah.
Talk a little bit about that because I think the video goes so well with the song itself.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
So I did the video myself, so I'm glad to hear that we got the vibe right.
yeah.
There's a movie theater in Nashville that I drove by one day, and I was like, that's my aesthetic right there. And it's in learning to integrate aesthetics into the art is something that I learned a lot later. But when I saw that place, I was like, I want to do a music video there, and that was probably 2 years before I ever did it. But we just went out there on a Wednesday night, waited for them to turn those lights on, and the vibe was just right. I had a couple friends come out. We shot for maybe about 3 or 4 hours, uh, until we had enough there. Maybe the most interesting tidbit about that video is that if you notice, everything's ever so slightly slow motion because I shot it at 48 frames a second and played the music at double speed so that whenever I cut the video into halftime and played it at 24 frames a second, I was now singing at regular speed, but we were moving in slow motion.
Mm.
So all the motion in the video is ever so slightly slow,
Yeah.
but the singing ends up staying on time with it.
Now, were they friends of yours in the video?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, was the girl that you were with, is she just a friend? Or was she a love interest in the past?
Yeah, she's a friend. She works at one of the venues here in town that I play at.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
ugly. Not ugly. Very
Yeah.
attractive.
Yeah, she's a pretty girl.
She's very attractive. Another song was A Couple More Hours Till the Sun Comes Up. That
Yeah.
seems like people have kind of connected with that a little bit. Can you talk about that song?
Yeah, so that song was released before, and I actually restructured a little bit of it and brought it back out. So it was actually out before the full record, which is one reason why it's got a higher stream count than the rest of the songs. Um, I wrote that with my buddy Josh Ozarzak, who actually was here writing with me earlier today. And that one happened fast. We just got in one day and just started cooking up, and it was one of those where we just didn't think about it too much. I don't think it's the most lyrically genius song of all time. It was just about feeling good. We put a little saxophone in it. Interestingly enough, my buddy Mason Thomas, who's right now touring with a band called The Strike, I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I'm not.
One of the coolest synthwave bands on the scene right now. You got to check them out. They were in Nashville a couple weeks ago. We went to see them. But he played the saxophone on my record, so on that song as well. Yeah, I don't know. That song is a little bit more of a blur when I think about writing it. It 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 just popped out. We wrote it fast. We made a track. It felt good, and we didn't think about it too much. It feels much less heady than the overwhelming majority of the rest of the songs on the record.
Yeah. Another one I really liked is I Should Know Better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I can expand. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know if you're gonna ask
I
something
wasn't sure if
specific.
you're like, I'd rather not talk about that one.
No, no, we can definitely talk about it. That's another one that I restructured. I rewrote a couple lyrics just to make some changes there. It was just about like getting out of a relationship that you're just like I keep trying to put my foot down and get out of this, but it's just hard. And you know, I just this particular relationship I was referencing, it just was one of those things where like we just kept running back to each other, and I was just fighting my conscience constantly on it, and I didn't feel good about that. And you know, it it it's a it's just an ode to like what it's like to be caught in the middle like that. I also do think though that it's one of the cooler guitar licks on the record for sure. That
Yeah,
intro lick and some of the bass stuff is also some of my favorite as well.
yeah. It's a great
Yeah,
song.
thank you, brother.
What's a sleeper song on this album? Maybe it's not an obvious single, but it's a song that people should definitely check out.
Shades of You, Shades of You, Shades of You. That's my
Okay.
easy answer. I made the mistake of putting this song last on the record and didn't think, oh, people are going to get to it last. But I think along with Miami, is one of the most sonically fresh songs on the record. And it's also probably the most rock song on the record, but it's also got saxophone in it. So, like, who's not going to love that, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just it's the most experimental as well, but I think like we nailed it. I wrote it with a girl named Laura Short who goes by the artist name Floater. It's been a while since I've written with her, but we had such a great, like, when we would lock in on something, it just would work. And there's some cool, just like, even just the drum groove we went with is so like it's slightly left field. It's very syncopated and it just throws you off a little bit, but it's still very forward motion. Um, and it's probably in my opinion the coolest song live on this record too. So I'm actually thinking that I'm going to put it in the front of the live studio video.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to ask you that too. Yeah, yeah. Would you perform that front to back, or are you going to kind of mix that around a bit?
I'm going to mix it up. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If I perform it front to back, I'll get to Miami too early and then everybody will leave.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. You mentioned like streams and things like that a few minutes ago. One of those songs having the most, and I just was curious as to, what do you think about streaming numbers and algorithms? Like, can that start messing with your head a little bit, or do you pay a lot of attention to that, or?
Like, are you asking if like I get down on myself about not having more maybe?
Yes and no. It's more of those like, how much do you judge, um, you know, your music by like listens and things like that, if at all,
Um,
if at all.
I would say I don't because so much of streaming is marketing.
Hmm.
I think my streams are more of a reflection of how good of a marketer I am or am not at this point than it is whether or not the music's great.
Yeah.
And now great music that's marketed well will outperform anything and everything. But mediocre music that's marketed well can outperform great music that's not marketed well
Yeah.
sometimes. So it's, streams, we would call that a vanity metric,
Sure.
So I don't get too in my head about it. Now, do I want a million streams? Oh, I'd love a million streams. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, like, because it's like it can become like disheartening if that's like what you really, judge yourself on.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, there's so much garbage out there that has tons of streams and they probably
Yeah.
shouldn't, versus someone who has good music and, the streams don't reflect that, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, music's a funny thing. Like, some stuff's just not for everybody. Like, sometimes you see something and you think it's trash, and some people just think it's gold, man. And like, I think as an artist, you have to learn to be comfortable with that. That like, I'm not for everybody, and sometimes something that I think sucks is going to resonate with substantially more people than I am even capable of,
Yeah.
maybe. And sometimes that's just because some people have maybe like they're more cultured than you, or maybe they have a broader worldview for whatever reason, or maybe they're more of a people person and people connect to them more. It could be, there's so much of that floating around, but like, as much as I can be overly analytical, that doesn't tend to be something that I get too worried about for the most part.
You're probably better off that way.
Yeah, I think for me, um, like I said, I'd love millions and millions of streams, but I think what I'm after more at the end of the day is I want to be able to sell hard tickets. I think that's more of, for me, the real gauge of success is, can I get people in the room? And that's really the long play at the end of the day. I would take less streams and more ticket sales rather than the inverse.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can connect with actual people instead of a number on a screen. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a good dovetail into my next question. What is the live version of Johnny like?
Ooh, you mean at the show?
Yeah, like what's a live performance like? And I mean, how have people received you as a live performer? And we're talking about streams versus actual people in the room. Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that experience.
Well, I really haven't had a lot of a chance to perform it live since I've done this record. I think I've actually only done one show on this record. And the biggest reason for that is because it's just still early in the game for me. And, it's expensive to play shows, so I'm not trying to go play to nobody necessarily. So
Right.
at this point, the name of the game for me is really just like utilizing the internet to the best of my abilities to start populating my socials so that downstream of that we can sell tickets. But if I had to speak to the show, I think probably the biggest thing that, like, if you listened to the music but didn't necessarily know about me as a person or follow me on socials and you went to a show, probably the biggest standout would be like, I'm going to lean into guitar playing a lot. And that's definitely going to be like one of the biggest front pieces. Like, the one thing that's going to come after like the importance of the songs themselves is going to be that, like, I'm going to make sure that me and the musicians make it feel like you watched musicians tonight. Like, it's not going to be just sing along night only, right? And I want that, and I love that, and I do think that the sing along thing is actually the best part of the show. But I wrote songs like Shades of You so that people who come to the show who haven't heard the music yet, so they don't connect with Miami or I Should Know Better on the same level. Because if you're like me, I hear music first as well, like you said you do. Um, so like sometimes when I see a song that's about the song or the vocal, I don't necessarily receive it the same live the first time because I don't know what the song is and what it's about. And I have to lock in harder to get in the zone of like accepting this new idea. But if I see a band just jam or just shred, and people are just bobbing their heads, I'm in.
Mhm.
I don't need to think about or like process it quite as much. So that's why I have songs like Shades of You at the end of the day, is to be able to just kind of smack you in the face a little bit more at the show with that. And I got to give a testament to guys, my musicians, guys like my drummer Jared, who's just a freaking incredible player and just knows how to make the music feel great. And I think that that alone elevates a show when people just get to see it with their eyes. You know, I've always I love hearing a great record, but when I can see somebody play something, um, you know, with form and with passion and play clean and all these number of things and make you feel something, it's totally different.
I get that. I'm friends with the former guitar player of Breaking Benjamin, Aaron Fink, and this might be different than what you're saying, but like he's a good guitar player, but like the way he moves with that guitar, it's like I always say like it's like a carpenter with a tool belt. Like that's just like a tool, and just the way he moves, it's just like the times I've seen him play, like I'm kind of feel like what you're saying. It's like it just feels like you feel something different.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's neat.
And also just like, dude, heavy bands like Breaking Benjamin, like it's got that smack you in the face factor.
Yeah.
Like there's something about that live that like I can go see a heavy band play and have never heard of them. But if they're smacking, I'm in 100%. I don't need to know one song. I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah.
I'm going to love it.
Yeah. Music's awesome, man. It's such a
Agreed. Agreed. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of music.
I am too. I unfortunately I cannot perform or write or anything like that. So I've forced my way into poorly doing interviews with
I,
artists who can.
I think it's great, bro. I think you do a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. You kind of hinted towards this, but I'll ask it directly. What does success look like for you? Like, it's not streams. Like, what does it look like for you? Looking down the road, or maybe even now, currently, like, how do you gauge success, and what do you feel like success is?
The biggest things that pop out, let me say this, a lot of streams would be a success.
Sure.
It's not the pinnacle of success, but it is, I would say that's a big part of it. Um, Hard tickets again. And then just being able to continue doing it. That's another big piece of it, you know?
And you said that you're able to make a living, right?
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
most of the living I make right now is playing cover gigs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that's a big deal these days.
Yeah. I
That's
usually I usually don't allude to that too much on my socials because I don't want to cross-pollinate the brand that I promote
sure.
and give people the idea that I'm a cover artist because as an artist I'm not. That's
Right.
I don't necessarily consider what I do as my day job like as artistry. You know, when I'm playing these other songs, I would consider it musicianship, but not
Yes.
artistry.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. What you have streaming right now is that's the artist.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. But if you hear me playing Wagon Wheel on Broadway, it's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's respect. It's you're
Right.
respecting the musicianship.
Right.
So now that Empty Shell of the Good Old Days is out in the world, what's next? I know you said you haven't performed it out a lot lately. Are there shows booked down the road for the rest of the year? Um, I know you said you're already like working on some new stuff. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
What's the future hold?
The game plan right now is to get this live video done, and then we're gonna do two more music videos for Empty Shell: The Good Old Days. And when that is done, the plan is to start working on the new record and start playing live shows at that point in time.
Is
But
that
no, nothing is booked yet.
okay? Is that like a 2027 kind of game plan?
That I'd say roughly aiming for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to get this next record out in 2027.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, I'm looking forward to this live version.
yeah. Oh, I am too, man. I'm glad you're excited about it too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a band that I like that did something like that. Ah, shit. I can't think of who it was, but it was just a really cool, um, just a version of
Yeah,
the album version. So yeah, it's man, who was that? I don't know. I can't think of it, but not important.
yeah. Well, I feel you. I love just seeing something interpreted. You know,
Yeah,
even if it's not that different, there's something about watching it happen. And then that slight deviation from hearing exactly what the record sounds like even something just like a snare tone that we selected, or singing a line with a slightly different melody and things like that, just give you a different take on that. And I think that's what was most fun about that. Another thing too, I will say, and this kind of piggybacks on the question you were asking about, like, what's the live show vibe like, is that things will generally feel a little bit more rock in that scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm big rock guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, the future of Johnny Cochran.
I appreciate
I'm
that, man.
excited to follow your journey. What do you do for fun when you're not doing music?
I do a lot of music for fun. I'll say that
Yeah.
I've I have times when I'm like, maybe I need to get more hobbies because this was always my hobby. But I like to play basketball a lot. I was a skater boy for sure as a kid. But I'm a little more scared of the skateboard now that I'm in my 30s. Um, yeah, basketball is the biggest one that I've done in recent. Um, I always think, man, things like carpentry look cool, but I'm so scared of losing a finger that I'm
Sure.
like,
That'd be a
yeah,
problem. That would be a big
yeah, I need,
problem.
I need, I need my fingers. So,
Yeah.
so I don't think I'm gonna do carpentry, but yeah, probably I'd say basketball. And then other than that, just like general, just being social. I'm a big conversationalist. I like to just connect with people, talk about anything and everything, but definitely depth is big for me on that. I like philosophy and topics like that. So like if we can just nerd out and get way in the weeds and something like that, I'll have a great time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show, if you get to watch TV.
All time, The Office.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm based out of Scranton, PA.
I know. I almost said something about that actually. Yeah. Love
Yeah.
Scranton, bro. Love the Office, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been to Scranton, but I'd love to visit literally just because I love the show.
Dude, you gotta come. You gotta
Oh, I'd love
come.
to.
We gotta get you a show.
Yeah, dude. I'd love to play out there.
Yeah, so it's funny. Like I never got into The Office when it was popular on TV.
Mhm.
Just recently, within the past like 6 or 7 months, I started watching it casually. I'm not trying to binge it. Um, and I don't know like if back then, like when it came out in the like what mid 2000s, I don't know if my brain was like in that uh comedy style space.
Yeah.
But now as
It's
I'm
very
older,
dry.
yeah, now I appreciate it. But some of
Yeah.
the stuff that's like just off the wall.
It'll make you pretty uncomfortable too.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
watching Scott's Tots, you'll cringe a little bit, bro. I love it. I really like it a lot. Yeah. But I
Well,
also maybe I could throw another one or two in there.
yeah,
I had a week off of work one time, and I laid in bed the whole week and watched Breaking Bad front to back, and
dude,
it was great. Breaking Bad was
you
awesome.
just stole what I was gonna say, but go ahead.
Oh dang, I'm sorry.
No, that's incredible.
Lost was great.
Yes, I hated the ending. I hated the ending.
Okay, now here's something that I'm passionate about. Have you seen the back rooms?
No.
Okay, so I'll try to stay away from spoilers. I wanted to love the back rooms so much. I can appreciate Lost because even though I was left with a million questions, I also had questions answered along the way, right? So it's
Sure.
like you had some questions, you got some answers, you got more questions, you got some answers, and then they left you with some questions. But at least there was like a progression. When I watched the back rooms, I was like, I know as much as when I started this movie, and it frustrated me to no end.
Yeah.
But I got to give Lost some love because I'm like, they did that right. And everything's a cliffhanger. So I was constantly like,
Everything.
I have to see what's next. And
Have
then
to.
maybe I'll throw one more little one out there because I can't, even though I'm 33, I can't seem to stop watching some form of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just something about seeing dudes freaking power up with golden hair and freaking shoot energy blasts that
Okay.
just gets my 12-year-old self fucking lit.
Well, I was gonna say, so I just recently rewatched Breaking Bad for the first time since it ended, and I think it was 2012 or 13. I forget what year it was. Just recently finished getting through it for the second time because it's a great show, phenomenal show, and it was it was long enough that I forgot certain things, which was great. But I never watched Better Call Saul.
Okay, right.
I had no interest. I don't really gravitate towards like spin-offs or prequels and things like that. Like Breaking Bad was so good. I'm like, there's no way that this show could be anywhere close to what Breaking Bad was. I'm on season 2 right now of Better Call Saul, and it is phenomenal.
Really
Yes, I cannot wait to for my kids and wife to go to bed so I can watch it, or I'll just sneak off during my lunch hour at work and I'll watch it during
nice.
lunch. Yeah, it's great. So if you ever thought about watching it,
Yeah, I
um,
might have to try it. I don't have a show currently,
yeah,
so I might have to try it.
it's good. I mean, episodes are long, it's as long as Breaking Bad. You know, it's the 49 and 50 minutes, but yeah, very very good. And
Yeah.
then I saw after I wrapped up Breaking Bad, I think it's called El Camino, which has I think that's like the continuation of Jesse Pinkman's life after
Okay, I see.
when he escaped, um, which I will get to after I finish Better Call Saul. But
Nice.
yeah, yeah, great shows. A lot of good TV out there.
Yeah, I this is maybe a cool little piece of lore, but I haven't actually seen a lot of TV and movies. But the reason for that is that like I wouldn't say I was sheltered. My parents didn't shelter us, but you know, we couldn't watch everything. And I appreciate that they didn't let me watch everything. But there was a point where I realized that I couldn't watch, you know, a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I just kind of don't care enough because they incidentally do let me go to the metal venue in town, so I'm just gonna pick my battles here, and so like it's kind of that strange thing where it's like I'm kind of surprised y'all are letting me do this other thing, but I guess I won't argue about like not going to movies and watching Spider-Man, you know, if I can go see these hardcore bands
Yeah,
at this hole in the wall venue when I'm 16 every weekend. And that was very formative, but that's where I like was learning about music scenes. And, you know, it was in like the heyday of, you know, I'm from a town of 30,000 people. It's not that big at all. And we had a functioning music venue for a metal venue at that.
yeah, wow.
You know, for that was all ages and didn't sell alcohol. And this was, I guess, in the 2000s. Yeah,
Hmm.
crazy if you think about it now.
Yeah, I mean, it could never happen now, but it's a shame. It's become too much of a business, I think.
Yeah, the
Everything.
economics are so much harder now, man.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
It's
Yeah.
and it's harder than ever to get people out of their homes to come see a
Right.
show. It's like, you know, I don't want to hate on the internet because we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now if it wasn't for it. But I mean, you don't have to leave your house. You
Right.
literally don't have to leave. You can date on your phone, food to the house. You can gamble on your
Yep.
phone. Every movie, every TV show you want possible on your TV. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a big fight,
Yeah.
but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Last question before I let you go. I know you have to get to a show. If someone's hearing this conversation, and you may have already answered this, because I think the sleeper may have uh, been this question just worded differently, but someone hearing this conversation and decides they're going to go check out your music, what's the one song that they should start with?
Ooh. Um. And if I don't know what they're into in the first place, ooh, I probably would. I guess I got to say Miami.
Yeah,
The numbers are telling us it's Miami. You know,
it's
that's what
Miami.
everybody's gravitating to right now.
It's Miami for sure.
It has the best return rate of all the songs right now.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
all good, man. They really they are. I mean, Miami hooked me instantly, but
I appreciate that, man. Thank
yeah,
you.
it's all good, man. It's all good. Where are you playing tonight?
I'm playing downtown Nashville at Laney Wilson's rooftop.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. It's
Well,
not the worst day job ever. I'll tell you that much.
no,
It
no,
is not.
man.
It is not.
No. Well, I hope you kill it.
Thank you,
Thank you
bro.
again for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, this is
Um,
great, man.
I'm hoping again, we're not judging by streams because like you said, like we don't have to do that because it's not real, so to speak. But um I imagine in a year from now, we're gonna be looking back and saying, like, well, I can't believe I only had X amount of followers,
Yeah,
X amount of
yeah,
streams. So
totally. Well, I hope you're right, and we'll have to do this again when I got the next record out.
hell yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Well, hang tight 1 minute after we stop, but thank you so much again. Johnny Cochran, it's Johnnny. It's not IE like the lawyer.
Right.
Uh, but check him out on all socials, all the streaming services, and you will not be disappointed. I promise you that. All
Thank
right.
you, brother.
Thank you. Whenever it just wants to stop, it could stop whenever. Huh. All right, we're stopping now.